let us say hello to the aforementioned Bo Nickal. Very much looking forward to this, and I know a lot of you are as well. And most importantly, very much appreciate that he is coming on. It's easy to come on after the wins, not so much after the tough nights. And so there he is, smile on his face. Hello, Bo. How are you?
I'm all right. I feel like I'm joined in on a funeral or something.
No, I know. And I apologize for that tone. I don't know what type of mood that you're in, so I want to be respectful. But is that a sentiment, by the way, that you have felt over the last 72 or 48 hours? Do you feel like people are coming to offer their condolences when in reality life is good, you're healthy, you have a family, and it's not the death of your career?
Yeah, in a way, I feel that. I think that more than anything, I just appreciate the support and the love that I'm getting from a ton of people. It's been really interesting. Something that I've noticed, it's the same people that are texting me after the wins they're still texting me after, this loss. And that makes me feel really good because I feel like I have a lot of really amazing people in my life. And I think I've surrounded myself with the right people. I've heard so many stories of fighters who pretty much just like get abandoned in a way after they, lose a fight. And for me, I got hundreds of messages post fight, and it's the same exact people that are texting me post fight after I've won. So that's something I'm really appreciative of.
How would you describe the last 72 or so hours in your life?
Yeah, it's been a little, it's been crazy. But I think that there's been a lot of reflection. And I think that, initially after the fight, obviously I was very disappointed, very frustrated with myself. And I think that I just am really glad that I have a great foundation of, values and things that people have kind of taught me. And I don't really feel that the goal or myself or anything has changed. It's unfortunate to kind of like have to experience that because I hate losing. But I think that even now, like having gone through many losses in the past and feeling like those were some of the biggest catalyzing moments in my life and my career, I'm already very grateful for it. And I think that this is nothing but a learning opportunity and an experience that I think will just help me grow and improve and get better.
So I remember speaking to you when the fight was just announced. It was a couple of months before, and you were obviously a big favorite, as has been documented. Once we get the fight week, you go through the whole training camp, and you're getting ready. You're seeing him. You're feeling the vibes in Iowa. What was your level of confidence going into this fight? By far the most accomplished opponent you've ever been matched up against. How were you feeling going into Saturday?
I felt super confident going into the fight. I think that in my mind, prior to, I did everything that I needed to do to prepare to win the fight, and I felt great. I think that now, having looked back, and gone through that I wasn't as prepared as I thought, and there was a lot of things that I could have done better prior to, and a lot of things that I could have focused on and done differently, and that's great. That's something that I can look at and I can take from that experience and change moving forward. So, I think that feeling like I was as prepared as I could have been and then realizing that I really wasn't is a good thing for me.
What are some of the things that you now recognize that you didn't work on enough going into this?
I think that it's just it's tough to be able to predict everything or try to assume what's going to happen in a fight because I just don't have years and years and years under my belt of reps and feeling different styles and people try to do different things to me and so when I look at that fight and some of the things that kind of were his biggest I guess point his biggest positives in the fight, that on his side those were things I really wasn't prepared for. And so now it's like, all right, that's eye opening. I realized there was, certain situations where I was vulnerable and certain weaknesses that I had in my game. And now those have been exposed and now I get to work on them, which is a good thing.
Obviously, much has been made of how confident you have been throughout your career, and now the comments get sort of thrown in your face. I'm just wondering, were you overconfident? Did you look past him? Did you think that this guy couldn't hang with you, and maybe didn't take him as seriously as you should have?
Absolutely not. No, I don't feel that I looked at RDR as a somebody I was going to blow through. I looked at that as a really big test and a really big challenge. And of course, I'm confident. I think nobody in my situation or in this sport is really like, uh, you know, gonna be. We're all confident guys, and so I think that um, knowing the danger of the fight going in, it definitely I felt like there was a lot of opportunity and chances for me to, you know, have weaknesses in my game exposed, and that's exactly what happened. And I wasn't really afraid of that going in. And I think that um, you know there was maybe a little bit of I think that more than like being overconfident, it's just being naive. Like being in certain situations and not realizing that I'm in danger, it just comes with experience. And so, again, that's an experience. I had an experience this past weekend that I'm going to be really, really grateful for in the long run. And he fought, he fought his fight, and I fought his fight too. So that's something that moving forward in the future that I'm going to know not to do. And so I feel like, yeah, overall, I'm grateful for the lesson.
Well, were there any members of your team, coaching staff, management, who, when this was presented to you guys, who said that like, maybe this is too big of a step up? Maybe you shouldn't go this route?
Well, it's kind of tough because um, I think that that's been the consensus since my first UFC fight. So it's not like that's a new message, right? It's like, all right, I go into the UFC at 3-0, and the message has kind of been like, hey, this is going really fast. Like maybe we just slow down, and so it's not like this was the first time that that's been said to me. But of course, right? Like I think that it's pretty clear that things are moving quick, but you play the cards that you're dealt, and I feel like it's a good lesson for me.
Sometimes we have seen very accomplished wrestlers start to fall in love with the striking, love the sensation of knocking someone out, get some success maybe against lesser opponents, and then move away from the wrestling. Do you feel like that happened in this fight?
No, definitely not. I mean, I think I look at a guy that in RDR that I competed against who he's good everywhere, right? Like he has many knockout finishes, many submissions. Um, he's got decent wrestling, and so going in, like I'm just trying to win the fight, and so he was overall just like more well rounded and more skilled, more experienced than me, and really at the end of the day, like it that's what it comes down to. Like he was a better fighter, and now I know I need to get better, right? Like my goal still remains the same, and so I think that with my skill set and what I've been able to do so far, like there's still so much room to improve, and I knew that going in, but now I think that's even emphasized more, having been exposed like that.
Uh, How would you describe that feeling of getting kneed in the chest like that finishing sequence?
It's not fun, it doesn't feel good. It just kind of shuts your whole body down, right? Like I don't really feel like that there was a lot. It wasn't really that last sequence that did it. It was more so the accumulation of he hit me in the body a lot in that first round, and I didn't really. I don't think I really showed it too much, but in the clinch, landed knees, landed punches. It was an accumulation of damage there, and then the last one was just the nail in the coffin. So um, that's something that I think again I hate to keep saying the same thing, but it's a great lesson for me.
Have you rewatched the fight?
No, I pretty much know exactly like how it went down. I'll rewatch it at some point, but um, going through the sequences, it's still very fresh for me, so I remember.
The aftermath, the reaction. obviously has been immense. It's been intense. We have seen this a few times. At least I have, covering the sport. It reminds me a little bit of when Sage Northcutt lost his first fight, when Ronda Rousey lost her first fight in the UFC, Conor McGregor, where it just seems like there's this explosion, this reaction. And if I'm being 1,000% honest, not positive, right? People just saying like, this guy got some humble pie. He said this and that, X, Y, and Z, and he got, what he deserved. Have you seen any of that? Have you been exposed to any of that? And if so, why do you think people are reacting this way?
Um, yeah, I mean, of course, that comes with the territory. I think that people that's not a it's you mentioned that this has happened many times over, and so that's not a surprise to me, and it's part of the job. So I think that I've said a lot of things in the past that have brought a lot of emotions out of people for whatever reason, and that's totally fine. So I think that for me, again, the focus is continue to improve and get better at fighting. And it really just makes me even more grateful for the people that do support me. Like when you texted me, gave me some support, and then asked me to come on the show, and I was like, wow, like that's really cool because I didn't expect that, right? Like how often is it that you know guys lose a fight or undefeated prospect lose a fight, and then everybody all of a sudden is like, this guy's trash, he's garbage, you got fraud checked, and that's the way that the world works. It's the way that the business works. And so again, it's not a surprise for me, but it's definitely motivation. It's fuel for the fire. And as soon as that fight ended, even just like traveling back to our Airbnb with my coaches, all I wanted to do was just get back into training and get back to improving and getting better. And I do this because I love it, and it's a big challenge, and it's very intense, and there's a lot of pressure, but that's fun for me. I want to live my life that way. And, when things go well, I get the reward. And when things don't go well, like this past weekend, then um, I get the consequences of that as well. And that's the life I live.
Do you allow yourself to read any of this stuff online?
I don't, I've had a lot of people texting me like how mad it makes them that they see some of this stuff and they're like, I'm gonna tell these people off, this and that. I'm like, just let them be. It's fine. It's part of the job, and it's my life. And so I think that the the hate and the negativity, I'm totally okay with it, totally comfortable with it, and I just honestly like pray for those people and hope that um, they aren't just like the only reason that they can send that in my direction is because they're full of that. And I would pray that they find a better path. And I think that I even got some texts personally from people that were trying to put me down in a way. And when I see that, it honestly, like, it doesn't make me mad, it just makes me sad, because I just think there's a lot of that negativity in the world, and I don't know. It makes me sad.
People who have your number, who are like some sort of, like they're close to you in some kind of way, they're texting you crap. Who are
I've
these
had
people?
a couple people like that, and I think that again, like, it makes me sad. It makes me like really like, wow, like, I don't know. Kicking somebody when they're down is I don't know. But again, I don't even really feel I feel down in a way where I'm disappointed, but I'm excited. Like, this is a chance for me to really like test my metal, and it's easy to just like continue to do things when everything's going right, and when everything's going well, it's like there's no um, you're not really you're moving downhill, and it's easy, and for me now it's like this is an uphill battle, and I get to really test myself and see what I'm about. So I'm excited about that. That's been my whole life, right? Like, everybody knows me for multiple national championships and this and that, but when I look back on my career, the things that I remember are the losses. Like, I remember being in elementary school and middle school and losing matches at national tournaments. I remember losing in the state finals in the 8th grade and the 9th grade. I remember being in the national finals as a freshman in college and losing in front of hundreds of thousands of people. I remember being in the finals of the Olympic trials in 2021 and losing. And it's like, so that just has been my path. And I think that those moments have always just been uh, massive opportunities for me to bounce back. And I just want to continue to, again, improve, get better, and use this as fuel for the fire. And for me, that's really all it is more fuel.
This line fraud check that you referenced, this gets brought up a lot. What do you make of that? This idea that you have been fraud checked?
Yeah, everything's so dramatized, and people in today's day and age, they want to. There's never a middle ground. It's either like you're amazing or you're the worst. And so I think that really that's just what it is like people want the drama, and they want um, the emotion to be evoked. And so for me, it's really irrelevant, right? Like I'm on the path that I'm on, and I believe like that the one loss doesn't define me. And even if I lose again, I could lose two, three, four, five times, but I'm not going to quit, and I'm just going to keep getting better and keep improving. And I think that there's always going to be opinions of me, and some of them are going to be high, too high. Some of them are going to be too low, and very few of them are going to be actually accurate. And so that doesn't really affect me. I just want to keep getting better at fighting.
To that point, I was wondering this, you just alluded to it, so I think I know the answer, but I just want to ask, has any of this experience, losing, the aftermath, changed the way you feel about the game, changed the way you feel about your career, about your time in MMA?
Um, Change the way I feel. I think that I feel a lot after having taken that loss. Like I feel a lot of, you know, disappointment, a lot of frustration. But I think that when I zoom out and look at my uh, path long term and where I believe I'm headed, nothing's really changed. Maybe there's um, a slight detour that I'm going to have to take, or now the road is going to be a little bit longer than what I thought. But I think that, all I can focus on is my effort. And every day I give 100%. I give everything I can to whatever it is that I'm doing. And so that's all I can control. And really, it's just giving it up to God and letting God take care of all the other things that are outside of that. And so, um, again, I'm just doing this because I love it, and it's fun for me. And the losing and the backlash it's not fun to deal with, but at the same time, I am grateful for it because I think it's just sharpening me, and at the end of the day, this is just going to make me a better person, right? Like that's all that I can really focus on is just trying to improve.
Is there any part of you that feels a weight lifted off your shoulders? Like maybe there was such a focus, like you got to go undefeated, you got to smoke everyone and run through everyone, and now there's a little less pressure?
No,
No. Okay.
not really.
All right. Maybe there's more
There,
pressure. Is there more pressure now to prove that you aren't that guy?
I don't think there's less or more. I think it's the same. For me, it's about controlling what I can control, and the pressure I can't control that. All I can control is my own perception of it. And there's times when it feels huge, and there's times when it doesn't feel like anything. And so I think that when you really kind of take a step back, it's just like, why are you doing this? Like, I do this because I like it, because it's fun, and I want to get better at it. And I think that God has instilled a desire for me, from inside of me, to do this. And really the pressure is just like so outside of really like what's going on. And it's gonna feel like a lot some days, and it's gonna feel like nothing some days. But I just focus on what I can control, and I focus on gratitude. I focus on like just being grateful for so much. There's so much to be grateful for. And if that's just a lesson that I've learned from the people that I look up to, is like, if you can just be grateful regardless of the situation, then things are going to work out.
You have great people around you, great coaches. Mike Brown is one of the best among your other coaches as well. And you mentioned people reaching out, and I've referenced some, the likes of Henry Cejudo offering support. Is there anyone in particular that said something that was really, that was really profound, that really hit you in a good spot, that you felt like, okay, it's all going to be all right here? Something that you appreciated that will stick with you?
The people that I mean, I appreciate everyone that says anything positive or negative. Honestly, like I have gratitude for it because these are all just lessons. And the things that I think I appreciate the most, that I'm most grateful for, are coming from my family, my mom and dad, my wife. Getting back to Pennsylvania and being able to see my baby boy was like, I just missed him so much. I spent a lot of time away from him this camp. And so getting to see him again, I was so appreciative. My in laws, my best friend, Anthony Cassar, Bryce Meredith, these guys. I just have so much love in my life. And of course, the broader community of wrestlers and people in wrestling and my people at Penn State. Like I feel so much love for that they're just pouring out to me. It's like I can't even imagine how many people are sending prayers my way and just hoping that I'm doing well. And it was so weird because my main thing, like after the fight, was like I just want my family and my people that I'm close with, my wife, my dad, my mom, like I want to make sure they're good. And like, hey guys, like I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna bounce back from this, and this is just a bump in the road. But like, make sure you guys are good because I just think that I just love them so much, and I know where I'm headed, and I want them to just know that I'm good and not be sad. And yeah, that like when I first jumped on, I was like, I feel like I'm coming to a funeral, but I don't feel I've been on this journey, and that's where I'm at right now.
Honestly, I'm very impressed with your demeanor right now. I'm very impressed the way in which you're handling this. Like you're kind of smiling. Like if someone's just tuning in, they wouldn't know if you're coming off a win or a loss, and perhaps that is because you've had a whole career in another sport where you've had highs and lows. Like you're kind of ready for this, as opposed to someone who his whole life was built to get to the UFC and maybe went 2-3-0 as an amateur, and this is their first time ever losing anything of any kind. Do you think that has something to do with it, the way you have this perspective?
Absolutely. I've lost so many times, and I've had so many experiences in life that have taught me lessons. And I really look at this like very similar to, I feel like I'm reliving the same story over and over again. Like at this point, it's the third time I think I've lived this story. And I think God's doing that for a reason. I look at when I was a freshman in high school, losing in the state finals of, and wanting to be a 4-time state champion, not being able to achieve that. I look at the national. This is really the fourth time I've lived through it. I look at my freshman year in college, losing the national finals, not achieving my goal. I look at losing in the Olympic trials finals, not achieving my goal. But the reality is, I look back at those moments, and those were amazing opportunities for me to grow and learn and get better. And specifically losing it in college as a freshman, I remember being incredibly depressed. 3-4 months of just like being so down and feeling like my life was over, and really questioning like my purpose and my skills and my ability. And I had a specific moment where I was a little bit sick and tired of being, in my mind, just being a baby. And I'm like, dude, are you going to cry for the rest of your life about this? Or are you going to just like get up and chase something new and figure it out? Like you can cry about this forever and let it hold you back and act like your life's over, or you can just get back on the horse and let it rip. And when I asked myself that, I was like, all right, bro, I'm done with this. So I think that having experienced that already so many times, that I just bounce back even quicker. And it's not to say that it doesn't hurt, because yeah, it hurts. Of course, the losses sting, and they sting really bad when you don't lose too often. But I feel like this is an opportunity for me to bounce back and to just double down and make the story even greater and even better, right? Like that's the fun part of it, is getting through that adversity and meeting the challenges head on. So I'm grateful that this is in front of me now, where I get to go prove to myself who I am and what I'm about. And I've been doing hard things since I've been 5 years old, and so it's nothing new for me.
I've seen a lot of people bring up the Hamzat comments and some of your other comments where you were very confident, brash, some would say cocky. Do you regret any of those things now?
No, I don't regret a single thing. I believe myself 100%, and I'll bet on myself every single time. I think that um, that this win or a loss doesn't define me, right? Like, I've been able to win a lot and I lose very few times, and I don't define myself by the losses. I don't define myself by the wins. I just have a belief in myself that'll never go away no matter what. And so anybody can say whatever they want, and the result can be what it is, but I'm going to still wake up every morning and go after my goals and just bring it every single day. And so, yeah, I'm totally confident in my abilities still to this point, and this loss does nothing but motivate me even more.
How quickly do you want to return?
That's a good question. I was talking with Coach Mike on the way back, and I was like, I want to fight like ASAP. Like, let's go. Like, get back into it. But I think that I'll talk with the coaches and see what's best. You know, got to get back to 100% and feel like I can put a training camp together. But yeah, we'll see. I'll definitely be. I would like to fight a couple more times this year. So getting back as quickly as possible would be good for me.
Do you have an opponent in mind?
No, I don't really care. Whoever they want to match me up with, it doesn't really matter. Um, I think that I've fought amazing guys every time I've stepped up out there, and I don't expect anything different.
In his Instagram post, which I thought was very poignant, Coach Brown said, the one thing you can't really prepare for is just experience. Like, you need the experience, right? You can't do that in the gym. And so, do you subscribe to that? Do you think you just need to be a little bit more active if you're going to climb the ladder as fast as you want?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because it's like a balance where I've been fairly active and you're fighting better and better guys. So I can't like take the traditional route where guys are fighting, 0-0 guys or guys that have a couple fights. I haven't fought a guy with the same level of experience as me since my first pro fight. Every single fight I've had after my first pro fight, the guy's had triple, quadruple the amount of fights I have. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. So there's no stepping back. Um, so I don't really know. Like, I don't have an answer per se of like what's the best way to go about it, because no matter what, I'm fighting guys with way, way more fights than me and way more time. So I don't really know.
At this point, is there anything that you would like to say to all the people? There are a lot of people who are backing you, who believe in you. Before we let you go, anything you want to say to those people who still believe that you are going to turn into a championship fighter?
Man, all the people that back me, I love you guys so much. It means the world to me to have that support and that love. And uh, I can't express how grateful I am to have that in my life. I don't feel like I deserve it. No, I work really hard, but at the same time, I'm not a perfect person. And so when people back me like that, it really, it feels amazing. And I want to do right by all of them. And on the same note, the people that they want to see me fail for whatever reason, I have love for each and every one of you guys too. And I hope that you can find peace and happiness in your life all the same.
Did the UFC brass say anything to you afterwards? Dana, Hunter, anyone of that, of that ilk?
Not directly to me, no. But I know they, want to see me do well, and um, yeah. I mean, this is a journey that we're on, right? Like, I mean, I'm 29 years old. I've got a lot of fights left and a lot of things I want to accomplish, and there's gonna be a lot of memories made, in these next few years. So I'm just looking forward to it.
Thank you, Bo. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. You may have been surprised that I asked you to come on. The reason I don't often ask people after losses is because A, I don't want to bother, and B, a lot of them don't want to come on. And so you said yes quite quickly, and I was not surprised, but it was nice. I thought maybe you'd say I want some time off. Doesn't seem like you're in that headspace. Seems like you're in a great spot. Looking forward to the comeback, which I suspect will be greater than the setback, as they say, and really appreciate and respect the way you're handling all of this. So kudos to you.
Well, thanks, Ariel. I think it was really classy of you to ask me, and definitely understand your position. But the wins and losses, they don't define me. I'm who I am because of all the people around me that have poured into me and love me and support me. And there's a lot bigger things in life than winning or losing a fight. So with that being said, I'm ready to get back to work, and I'll be back soon.
Thank you, Bo. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
There he is, Bo Nickal joining us. And look, I know a lot of people are enjoying serving up the humble pie. I know a lot of people are celebrating the loss. I know a lot of people are saying that he was too cocky, too arrogant, that he got what he deserved. And you're very much entitled to do that. We spoke about all of this at length yesterday, and my general sense was he did not get fraud checked. He lost to a better fighter on the night. And if you are not worthy of the attention and hype that he received, then you can talk about, someone getting fraud checked. I do think he is worthy of that. And I think that his wrestling resume would suggest that. I hope that people, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if he was going to come on crying. I remember talking to Kayla Harrison after the loss. She was devastated. Her first pro loss. I didn't know what state he would be in. I would hope, if you're not a fan, that you can at least say, you know what? He seems to be handling it well. He's not too down. He's clearly a little bit down, but he seems to have a good head on his shoulders. He seems to have the proper perspective. He seems to want to keep going. He is, I think, saying all the right things. Perhaps you wanted him to say, I regret saying this or that, but you have to understand, championship level athletes, it doesn't matter if they're in wrestling, MMA, boxing, basketball, football, baseball, hockey, they just think different than all of us. And so I'm sure, he's putting on a brave face to a degree, but I do believe that is the authentic Bo Nickal. That is the real guy. Not too different than the one that we have talked to a bunch of times before big wins and after big wins. And I think that says a lot about him. And I think one thing that people are overlooking a little bit is that this guy has lost before, and he's lost on big stages. When you're a fighter and you just have fought, you go from being a kid, maybe Golden Gloves, then amateurs, then the pros. This is it. And yes, you could stumble in those departments as well, but you're not necessarily with a massive spotlight on you. And he had a whole other career. Perhaps that's part of the reason for the success that the likes of Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira have had as well. They have stumbled in a completely different career as well. And then they enjoyed the success in MMA, and then they stumbled there, and they were able to come back. They didn't let it define them. They didn't let it kill them. They didn't let everyone get to them. So let's see. It's now a much more compelling story. Let's see how he bounces back. Let's see if he's able to reinvent himself, improve, listen to his coaches. Let's see what he turns into. By the way, the great Ben Folks of Uncrowned has a story that just went live entitled, I was kind of traumatized by it. That's a quote. So you finally suffered your first pro MMA loss. Now what? And there's some great insight there from the likes of Rashad Evans and Big Ben Rothwell. He is losing on a massive, massive stage in front of a lot of people. Some people lose on the amateurs, and both sensations, both experiences are equally different, but also, equally difficult, but different in some regards. So let's see. Okay. Thank you very much to Bo Nickal for joining us. Appreciate him very much. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.